Welcome to CMST 510, Comparative Media, the graduate class, a research-based class. My name is Rob McKenzie. I'm the professor of the class, and I'm also the chairperson in the Department of Communication. And I'd like you to take a look at a video now that I've sent out in the email for today. Just 3 days ago, I was sitting in Mexico, sitting on a bus actually, driving around up towards the front of the bus, as you'll see, and I was watching TV. I want you to take a look at what I was seeing on the TV, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Pause the video, take a look. All right, so that was an advertisement on a running television program that was advertising a sex shop on a public bus. And I've got to tell you, on a public bus in Mexico, you have all kinds of different people. Public transportation is not like it is in the US, where normally the poor and the elderly ride public transportation, people who can't drive. In Mexico, everybody's driving. Here you have this content that would be considered in our country to be, at least in that context, obscene. Now, maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you would say that, in the United States, we have a store like Condoms Galore, and that would be in an ad, but I don't really think so. And how can that be the case in a country like Mexico that is, as they say, more Catholic than Rome? How can that be the case? That's what we're going to be talking about in this class from a research standpoint. It's all about examining media from all over the world, looking at the content, in this case, a particular TV advertisement airing in public on a flat screen TV. But we're trying to look at that content to gain a window on all the other factors that come into play that create that content, including the culture of the country in which the content is created. So it's a little bit of a hint for you about what we're going to get into in this class. Now, this is a D2L class. It's an online class. And what that means is it's going to run on the following cycle. Class will effectively be held on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And although originally in my email to you last week, I told you that assignments would be released at noon and then due by the next day at noon, I've changed that. It's going to be 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock will be the magic time. So every Tuesday, like today, I'm going to be releasing the assignments. I'm also going to be posting an instructor video. And then your assignment due date is going to be 24 hours from now. It's going to be 24 hours from 1 p.m. It's going to be due 1 p.m. on Wednesday. Same situation for Thursday. I'll release the assignments often before 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm preparing my class in the morning. Often I have things ready before then. I'll post them, but 1 o'clock is the official release time, and then everything is due by Friday at 1 o'clock. So set up your calendars. Set up your calendars for a Tuesday, Wednesday, 24-hour cycle, and a Thursday, Friday, 24-hour cycle for the assignments that are due in this course. All right, now, if you would like to, or if you would, I'd like you to go to D2L now, and I'd like you to open the Content tab and bring up the syllabus, because we're going to introduce the course and set up our first assignments for tomorrow, talk to you about what this course is all about. So if you have the syllabus open, let's start at the top at CMST 510. This is a graduate course that we established for our graduate program, which is just over a year old now. We've run this course also in Mexico during the summer. I'll be teaching it this summer in Mexico, but we're teaching it this spring, and my office hours are posted for you there. My phone number at the office is there, but I check email most regularly. If you want to get in touch with me by email, that's the way to do it. If you want to have a meeting this semester, please schedule with my secretary. I have a ton of students. It's the only way I can handle that load, by scheduled appointments. My office hours this semester are going to be a little bit strange for the first week because our secretary is out of town with a medical emergency. So my office hours are the same as they're posted on the syllabus, but they're going to be open office hours as opposed to appointed office hours, appointment-only office hours. Regardless, the office hours are going to be the same for at least the beginning part of the semester. So my office hours are Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and they're going to be 12 to 1. And then also 1 to 3. Again, 12 to 1 and 1 to 3, you can drop in this week if you need to see me. And then Tuesdays, I have office hours at the radio station, whereas the office hours I just mentioned are at Monroe 322, my full-time office, or my almost full-time office. My Tuesday hours are going to be 12 to 2 p.m. and then 6 to 7 p.m. at WESS Radio. I'm going to modify that, make it 1 to 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, now let's get on to the readings for the course. Most of the readings are going to be provided for you free of charge in this course. It's a rare course where it won't cost you a lot of money. There is one book that you need to get. It's called Rounding Some Corners. I think it's about $35. I wrote the book. It's published by Fountainhead Press, but you can purchase it at our university store. And then if you cannot afford that book at this time, then you can consult it on at Kemp Library, where I have a copy on reference. So rounding some corners. Now, what is this book about? This book is a book of 3 years of columns that I wrote for a newspaper making oddball observations of life, and particularly the ironies that exist in life, and particularly the funny ironies that exist in life. Every column takes 2 minutes or so to read, and the columns are generally of a contrarian nature. They are trying to force you to think about life in opposite ways than you normally think about it. And most of my columns, though not all of them, have a double meaning to them. And the double meaning usually occurs in the very last line of the column. So look closely to see if you can find that second meaning in most of the columns. We'll be using these columns as a springboard for discussion to understand how media differ from around the world. More when we get to that assignment later. The second reading that you'll have for the course are a series of readings that I posted on D2L under the Content tab. These readings are extracted from a book that I wrote many years ago called Comparing Media from Around the World. It was published in 2006. The book has gone out of date now, so I've taken it away from my classes as far as students paying for it, but there's still some conceptual material that I like to use there. In that book, I traveled around the world to 6 countries. I went to France, Sweden, the United Kingdom, Mexico, the United States I'd already been to, and Ghana. Those 6 countries I wrote about in my book in terms of their media systems. And then I also had 2 contributing authors write material about China and about Lebanon. So those 8 countries will serve as a basis for a lot of my examples this semester, and you will not be able to select any of those countries. Every student in this class will have to select a country to analyze a media system for. You will not be able to select any of those 8 countries. But I just want to give you a sense of that book. I traveled to these countries. I interviewed media experts. I interviewed government officials. One of my favorite stories was walking along the banks of the Seine, which is a river in Paris, and getting through to the chief government regulator for broadcasters, the CFE. And somehow I got an appointment, went to this high-rise and interviewed a big executive with my backpack and my audio recorder in it. That's the way that it was like a guerrilla information gathering book. That's the way that I did this book. And we'll be using material from that. It's posted on D2L. And then there's a third set of readings. These are research studies that you, the student, will be digging out yourself and leading a discussion on. I'll say more about those when we get to that assignment. All right, now let's go to the next item on the syllabus, the distance education component of the course. This is a D2L course, and so you need to make sure that you have internet access. I'm just going to paraphrase the paragraph here. You need to make sure that you're not going to be saying, I'm trying to get on and do this course by my phone in the middle of the woods in Bushkill. That may not work out so well for you. You need to be able to meet these deadlines. I do not accept late work. Students need to make their deadlines on time to be fair to all the other students who make those deadlines as well, regardless of their circumstances, employment, car accidents, and things like that. Of course, I'm not inhumane. If you have a really trying circumstance, I'm going to work with you. But you need to have internet access. It needs to be regular in this course. You need to have a device that you can listen to my videos clearly on, and also you need to have a device that you're going to post your own videos on. You'll have an assignment today where you're posting your own video. All right, moving on down the course, we have some departmental outcomes I will invite you to read on your own. Those outcomes are true for whatever course you take in our department. We expect all of our students to come out of the course with those outcomes. Next up, we have course goals for this course. I would like to go over these course goals so that you understand some of the details about what we'll be getting into in this class. So first of all, as a goal, we'll be identifying and evaluating current and legacy research. That term legacy is being used more and more to classic stuff. And there's recent research on comparative media, and there's legacy research. We're going to be examining both. We also want to be able to apply elements, keyword there, elements of a media system on their own to a media system in a country of their choice. So you're going to be applying elements. That's what we're going to be going through in this class. For example, an element is the culture of a country, a culture like Mexico that allows for erotica television to be shown in public. I wouldn't say erotic television, but advertisements for an erotic shop to be shown in public. That has to do with culture. Culture is an element. There's also financing. That's another element. There's also philosophies. We'll get into more of these later. But we're going to apply elements. You're going to be applying elements to a country that you're going to be studying. And we'll learn about how we can get beyond content to study comparative media. Next up, you're going to be conducting a literature review focused on a particular area of comparative media. If you're not familiar with what that process of a literature review involves, we'll be discussing that later. And that's an absolutely essential skill set that you need to have as an upper division undergraduate and for sure as a graduate. And then next up, we're going to debate topical issues related to the flow of information around the world. There's a lot of dissatisfaction out there, particularly among poorer countries, about how they are represented in the media across the world. We're going to be getting into that. And then lastly, I want you to be able to ascertain impacts of commercial versus non-commercial media on culture and society. The big difference in the impact between media that are privately financed by advertising versus publicly financed by taxes and other methods. We'll be getting into that. All right, if anybody needs special accommodations, moving down through the syllabus now, I need special accommodations because of a documented disability from the OASIS office here, please let me know and I will accommodate your needs. All right, I do have a policy on email etiquette, as I call it, and I really, want students to gain an appreciation for the medium of email. It's a formal medium. And when you get out into the professional world, if you start sending emails that feel like you're typing them with your thumbs on your phone and autocorrect is changing your words to the wrong words and you're not capitalizing, you're not going to do well in the professional world at all. So I have a policy that's an email etiquette policy. Students must use a salutation when you email me. Salutation could be doctor, could also be Mr., could be professor, chairperson, could just be hello. Salutation. And then you must use grammatically free sentences. No cell phone texting style. Just turn those sentences right around to you, if I turn them around to you, if they're not carefully constructed. All right, next up is my plagiarism policy. All work that you present in this course must be your own. You're not permitted to cut and paste sentences from the web or any other source. If you do want to use ideas, and you will be in this class, that have been found from other sources, you must cite those sources or rephrase the information in your own words. That's what you do. That's how you conduct research in an ethical fashion. Otherwise, it's like stealing a car. That's what it's considered. It's like stealing property, right? That's what plagiarism is. All right, now let's get to the meat of the course. Talking about the course requirements, item number 1 is instructor videos. For many days, I should even say most days, there will be an instructor video like today. I'll post it in the morning. You'll be able to see it under the content tab. Now, as to the specific assignments for the course, let's talk about the first one, country media posts. Country media posts. Each student will make 11 posts on a country of the student's choice. I'm going to be asking you to sign up for your country in today's assignments. The lowest score will be dropped. So you get to drop one of those scores. We'll count 10 posts at 2 points for 20 points each out of 100. I'll give you an idea right away. It's 1/5 of the grade for the course. Each post will apply the concepts of the day's readings to the student's country. So you're going to be using the readings to explain your own research into your own country. I'll talk about that when we get to the specific assignment. That'll be on Thursday. Today's just introducing the course. All right, next up is what I call RSC Posts. RSC is short for my book, Rounding Some Corners. There will be 10 posts at 0.5 points each for a total of 5 points. Each student will make 11 posts on Rounding Some Corners columns. The lowest post score will be dropped. Guidelines for the RSC posts are posted on D2L, and I'll be talking about them again next class. Today we're just introducing the overall framework. All right, next up we have the student-selected research article evaluation. That's 10 points. For this assignment, each student will lead an online discussion of a research article selected by the student. The student will find the article, post the article on D2L under the discussion tab, critique the article's literature review and methodology, then pose 3 discussion questions about findings for other students to answer. So you're generating the discussion questions and leading the discussion. Again, I'll say more about that assignment when we get closer, and I'll also be assigning each of you in this class to a particular day where you'll be carrying out this assignment. In addition to that, we have student discussion question responses. Those are the responses to the student-led discussion question. So each student will respond to the discussion questions. We have 10 posts at 3 points each. We have 9 students in the class. I may have to figure out how to do that since we don't have 10 points, but we're going to get 30 points out of it. I may end up giving you back the 3 points if we can't get a 10th presentation, but there'll be 10 posts at least 9 posts at 3 points each, but we'll get to 30 points there if you're looking at my syllabus. All right, there is a research paper for the class. It's 20 points. It's 15 pages long, and what it will require you to do is to compare a sample of media content from the studied country that you select with a sample of media content from another country that is studied by another student. So at the end of the course, you'll work together with that student a little bit. When I say that you're going to be looking at a sample of media content, you can study a radio show, you can study a magazine, a newspaper, a film, a web page, a TV show. That's what I'm talking about. There is a research paper. There are also going along with this research paper, there are going to be research presentations where each student makes an oral presentation at the end. That'll be worth 5 points. That'll be an online uploaded video that you'll post. And then finally, we have the research paper presentation response posts. And that's where each student will respond to the other students' research paper presentations. Guidelines for those posts will be presented later in the course as well. So I hope you can see from the way I've structured the course, even though it's an online course, there's going to be a lot of interaction, a lot of arguing, a lot of talking with each other, a lot of gaining knowledge from each other really is what it's all about. Now, when we look at the tentative schedule of events here, we'll see that we have 3 things that are set up for today. I'm almost done introducing the course to you right now. That's the first item for today. The next thing I want to do is to introduce that I will also be introducing myself, using the word introduce a lot here. I'm going to be doing that along with a third item on the syllabus here, which is student introductions, where I'm going to be requiring you to post a video by tomorrow at 1 o'clock introducing myself. But I will lay all of these details out in more detail in an email that I'm going to construct right now. So other than that, I want to welcome you to CMST Comparative Media. I really look forward to sharing ideas with you this semester. Have a great day.